Adjunct Professor Moran, Microeconomics 112. We'll continue our discussion of comparative advantage. We're going to go and review our first problem with our second problem. And we're going to convert the output table into production possibilities curves. And this is going to allow us to compare absolute advantages and determine and reinforce the idea that trade is not based on absolute advantage but instead based on comparative advantage. If we look at our first problem, which was Mike and Debbie in vacuuming rooms and washing dishes, Mike could do one room in an hour, or he could do 2 loads of dishes in an hour. To make a production possibilities curve, we're going to put the 2 products on each axis, vacuuming and washing. I'm going to take Mike's output ratio of rooms per hour, 1/1, and here's Mike, 1/1. Vacuuming rooms, 1 room, 1 hour. How much can he do with the other product? He could do 2 loads of dishes in 2 hours. Here's our wash 2 dishes. We connect the dots, and now we have Mike's production possibilities curve. He could do any combination of vacuuming or washing along that line. Let's do the same thing for Debbie by taking her output numbers. She could do 4 rooms in 3 hours. So here's vacuuming, 4 rooms in 3 hours. Let's take her ability to wash dishes. She did 4 loads of dishes in 3 hours. Here's 4 loads of dishes in 3 hours. So to do the production possibilities curve, you go to the output table and take those ratios and plot them accordingly. So you can see from this that Debbie had an absolute advantage in terms of vacuuming rooms, but Mike had the absolute advantage in terms of washing dishes, 2/1 compared to 4/3, and she was 4/3 compared to 1/1. Now, it turns out in this problem that the person with the absolute advantage also had the comparative advantage, that Debbie was going to be vacuuming rooms and Mike was going to be washing dishes. But that's not always the case. So if we look at our second problem, we had the 2 products were cleaning cells and offices, and it was Andy and Hannah. Let's do Andy's output numbers to calculate a production possibilities curve. When it came to cleaning offices, he could do 1 office per hour, or he could do 2 cells an hour. 2 cells in an hour, 1 office in an hour. Hannah could do 3 offices per hour. So go to the offices column, the offices line, put in 3 for Hannah. And she could do 4 cells in an hour. So we put that over here. You can see that Hannah has an absolute advantage in terms of offices and cells, but she won't be cleaning both offices and cells. It turns out that if we look at the comparative advantage table, Hannah has a comparative advantage in cleaning offices, so she's going to be cleaning the offices. But Andy has a comparative advantage in terms of cleaning jail cells, so he'll be cleaning the jail cells. So trade is not based on absolute advantage. Trade will be based on comparative advantage. By allowing Hannah to clean offices, we lose fewer jail cells not cleaned. 4/3 versus losing 2 jail cells cleaned. So Hannah's going to be cleaning offices. But when it comes to jail cells, if we let Andy clean jail cells, we only lose 1/2 of an office cleaned. But if Hannah cleans cells, we lose 3/4 of an office cleaned. It's better to only lose 1/2. So in a very unintuitive way, we're not using absolute advantage, who's definitely better at doing something, to determine who's going to specialize in which task. We're using comparative advantage by comparing the opportunity cost of allowing one person to do something. How much of the other do you lose? We're picking the person to do a task that has the lowest opportunity cost. We'll continue to practice another problem.